This is what I use. I'm making up a soap today. It is going to be called Manly Goat Soap. So I'm using goat milk, which I mixed in distilled water. I'm going to need lye to mix in that, and you always add the lye into the liquid. I'm going to be using my own tallow, some coconut oil, some calendula infused olive oil, which this is the same. I just want to use this one first, and I'll have my mold. I have my bowl to mix the lye. I have different bowls to add everything so I can measure it out beforehand. I have white vinegar as safety, and I have goggles also for safety. I do not wear gloves because just do as I say, not as I do. You should have a heavy set of gloves on. I also have my coffee because you need that, and of course, where I'm going to warm my oils. When mixing lye, you must measure exact. So for my recipe, I need 17 ounces of water. I'm going to use a scale. This is acting as my water, even though it's goat milk. A little bit too much, so we remove. 17 exactly. So there's my water. I need 6 ounces of lye, and it bounces, so pour gently. 6.1. We're going to remove some. Do not touch this. This is very caustic. There we go, 6.0. Okay, now for the oils. I need 10 ounces of tallow. I'm going to pour directly into the crock pot. I heated this up so that it would be easier to get out of here. And of course, it's one-handed. I'm having difficulty. Hold on. All right, it did just say 10, but apparently we have 10.1. Ounces of tallow. Okay, I zeroed it. Now I'm gonna get 5 ounces of my calendula infused olive oil. You always want to use a scale and not measure by volume, but you can measure by weight. It's just more accurate. Next, I will need 5 ounces of coconut oil, and I will have to dig that out of the container, so I'll be back. 5 ounces of coconut oil. Now we put that to be heated. I right now have it, I have an old one, so I have it, I'm going to put it at 300 till it melts some. Once it gets melted really good, then I will mix the lye and the goat milk. I don't want to mix it yet because once you mix this, it becomes really hot, and the goal is, where's my thermometer? I forgot to tell you at the beginning, we will need a thermometer as well. Once we mix this, it gets really hot. It's a chemical reaction. That's why we have this white vinegar, because this is going to be extremely basic as far as, I don't mean basic as in simple, I mean it's going to be a base as far as pH. It's going to be very alkaline. So what we want to do is mix this. It's going to get really hot. This is going to get really hot, but we want the temperatures of both of them to be within 10 degrees of themselves. So this usually heats up to be about 140, 150 degrees Fahrenheit once you combine the two and the chemical reaction occurs. And again, why we have vinegar. I forgot to finish that. This is basic. Once I mix it, alkaline. This is acid. So this acid will neutralize this. If you get it on your skin or you get it on the surface, you want to add the vinegar. So once this heats up, I'll be back. So I measured out my scent. I have it in here. I also measured out my colorant. So I'm going to be using 2.6 grams of scent. I really want it to smell good, which is about 2 tablespoons. Excuse me. I also measure out my colorants, 1/4 teaspoon each of Azure Blue. It's just called Azure, and then this is Tiger Orange, and it's by Rolio, and I don't have the package with me, but it's mica powder. I will not measure it out like this again because it ended up getting everywhere. So now I have orange mica in the seam of my stove, which I'm gonna have to scrub out, and hair. So yeah, I'm gonna have to scrub that out. But it got everywhere, and I'll probably lose color in the bowl. So next time I'll just directly add it to the soap. But I think for video purposes, I was thinking this would be a better way to do it, and I was wrong. All right, I'll be back. Also decided to add, sorry about the lighting, 1 ounce of honey powder. This is the honey powder that I used. Got it on Amazon. Really like it. It's very nourishing to the skin. It adds an antibacterial and antiviral component to your soap. I stir periodically just to help loosen and break things up, make it melt a little bit faster. I also check the temperature periodically, just because, like I said, we want to have things with the lye and the oils within 10 degrees of each other. And I'll kind of guess when I need to go mix the lye. I also have a paper towel here on the counter because it does end up getting messy. Oil everywhere. Also, you're going to need an immersion blender, or you're going to get a workout stirring this once we combine the two. Also, always write down what you're doing. That way, if it turns out really spectacular, which I'm sure it will, you can duplicate it later or replicate it, whichever word you want to use. So I messed up. I only added 10 ounces of tallow, 5 ounces of coconut oil, and 5 ounces of calendula. I had to double that because when I put it in the crock pot and it started melting, I thought to myself, this really doesn't look like enough oil. So I went back to my original recipe and found out, indeed, I need 40 ounce total of oils with the 6 ounces of lye and 17 ounces of goat milk or water. So that is since been corrected, and excuse my mess. Here's my oil. It is nice and melted, and it is currently, let's see if I can get a good picture of it. It is 100, I'm going to say 110 if I leave this in here. So it's time to mix the lye. So here I am outside. You want to make sure the wind is behind you so that this doesn't blow in your face. Always, always, always add the lye to the liquid. Never add the liquid to the lye. It is quite dangerous. So I'm going to slowly add it or quickly add it, whichever you want to say. Then I'm going to stir, and you are going to see steam coming off of this. And it may change colors. And it is changing colors. So I don't know if the blue is going to work as a colorant, since now we have an orange color. I might have to make it all orange, but we'll see. I might just add more blue. And it's curdling. Didn't know it would do that. Sorry, I'm off center. I'm too busy watching. Can you see the steam coming off of it? And who's making noise? My chickens are making noise because I'm outside and they think I'm going to bring them some food. But I already did that. So that's lye. Now this is going to be, like I said, about 140 degrees. you're going to want it to get down to within 10 degrees of the oil mixture. I added vinegar in this bowl that had the lye in it. We're going to let that sit for a while just to neutralize any of the alkalinity. It's getting thicker, but not quite to trace. We have reached trace. See how thick it is? Now watch when I drop. Of course, it's not going to show, and I'm not even. Everything's sitting on top. Now is the time to add your other things like powders and scents. So I'm going to do that. I've separated it into two bowls because I'm going to do two colors. This is going to be my blue. This is going to be my orange. So let's get to the orange. See if that's even enough. Starting to get really thick really fast, so I need to work faster. It's going to get lumpy. That's fine. Let's keep stirring. And you can't see the orange very well, but I can see it. I don't know why my camera's not picking it up. It's still yellow in the camera. But it is very orange. Hard because it's, oh, I should have got a more narrow bowl. I might have to do this by hand. Oh, the blue's turning out nicer than I thought it would. Yeah, I'm going to do this by hand. Be back. Put a line chunk of soap in the bottom. It is too thick, so I was gonna do something else with it, but this will work. Be back. I'm gonna pour the orange over it. Poured the orange in and then added the blue on top. Now I'm gonna smooth it out. I added another layer of orange on top. I waited too long. It got too thick, but we're still gonna get soap. Now I'm going to put it in a cardboard box, cover that with towels to make sure that it cools slowly. And then in 24 hours, I will take it out of the mold and slice it. Come back tomorrow to see what it looks like. My recipe was a little bit large apparently, and I got 3 extra bars of soap.